Hello and welcome to the worst idea of all time, Season 3, Episode 2. Thank you to Big Pipe Broadband for sponsoring this episode. You guys know the drill by now. If you're in New Zealand, you have access to the single greatest ISP on planet Earth. No throttling of your family or your speeds. No caps, no contracts. They barely exist, except to bring you bloody fast and cheap broadband. Go to bigpipe.co.nz. and get involved there. And use the code WORST when you sign up because it shows them that you listen to us and it's good for everybody. Right, so we did a live record of our second watch and I've got to apologise for both the state of the audio and kind of the state of Guy and myself as well. Don't know what to tell you. Our recorder failed. Luckily, Guy recorded it on his cell phone, so this is the audio from that. So just get on board. We're not perfect. We make mistakes. Guy and I did this fairly late at night as well, so we both done our respective comedy shows that night and then immediately watched the movie and then we did this, so things got a little loose. I don't know what to tell you. It's just enjoy it. Just make the decision to enjoy it. Here it is.
More volume!
This is our theme song, motherfuckers.
Crank it!
How good is that?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the worst idea of all time. First live record 2016. Are you ready to party? My name is Tim Mack.
My name is Guy Montgomery.
And I'm ready to party!
What's going on in the club, Tim? Everyone's here, they're up to their gills and Molly. It's a goddamn bloodbath down here, the drug bath.
Yeah, I'm going to say stopwatch because I feel in the kind of mood to really lose track of time this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, Guy Montgomery and myself have just watched the movie We Are Your Friends, Zac Efron, 2015. You want to know the director? Can't remember his name, but he was that guy from the fish thing. What's it called?
From Catfish. Max Joseph.
This is less fun with an audience, they keep correcting me. And then you fall down a rabbit hole of being wrong and explore and dwell in it.
No, it's good, it's efficient.
It is efficient. And that's our word of the day.
Efficient.
It's like Pee-wee's Playhouse, you gotta go crazy when the word of the day gets spoken. And the word of the day is efficiency. Because efficiency is what this film is all about. Efficient storytelling and filmmaking. So much gets done so quick. I love this movie. There's no getting around it. This is, it's a great film. It's a lovely film. It's a film that's not too long, which is...
You know what?
Close to my heart.
More than anything, it's a watchable film. You could watch this movie, any of you could watch this movie whenever you want, and it'll feel so good. It'll feel so right.
If you were on a plane watching this movie to go to anywhere, you would touch down and be like, I'm going to be a DJ now, and wherever I touch down.
If I was going to DJ the George FM Sky Island Blue Throwdown.
Quick shout out to George FM.
Quick shout out to George FM, Blue Sky Out Throwdown.
Coming to your George FM.
Also, we're gunning super hard we're gunning real hard for Max Key as a special guest this season. It's not a joke, it's true. He'll be here one time, we'll get him. It's good promo. It's good for everyone involved, really.
Cut the house lights, please, Gabe. I want to pretend like no one's here with me. Thank you very much.
But there's still like 6 people.
Do you want to know what's real?
It's even weirder.
You want to know what's real freaky? Those are the people who are in that exact same table on my show.
They're front and centre from Monty this evening also.
Really? The front and centre triple header. They're a threat.
3 of them played my family members. It's mum, dad and my sister.
Holy shit! A lot of people don't know what we're talking about. Just real episode.
Yeah, but it's rocking those 4 people super fucking hard.
Ever so briefly to bring you into the fold, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're listening. And in Brazil, I say hello. They say hello in Brazil.
That is Brazilian for hello, which is their national language.
Just to let you
It's not Portuguese.
Common misconception that, eh?
Yeah.
A lot of people think that Brazilian isn't the national language.
A lot of
But
people are
it
ignorant,
is.
Tim, but not you and me. We're a couple of smart boys,
Absolutely.
using our brains in the best way possible. We're researching constantly.
Because we've been everywhere and we've done everything.
We have lived, I think, rich and fulfilling lives.
Do you remember the time we fought in a war?
Oh, do I ever? Those were heady times, Tim.
It was intense.
But we were brave. We were brave boys. We went straight over the top.
Absolutely.
And we bloody kicked the Bosch out of New Zealand.
Didn't we?
Oh, right off the shores. We said, right,
There we were, two plucky young boys from future Australia, and the Great Tasman War of 2020. For
yeah.
those of you uninitiated who haven't time travelled before, and sorry about it if you haven't been on the journey, in the year 2019, Australia declares war on New Zealand to try and claim it as a territory. And it doesn't turn out very well for New Zealand. Guy and I had the foresight to fight for Australia. Thank God.
We're not idiots. They're way bigger.
Absolutely.
And they're angrier too. Generally speaking, they're just angrier people.
I just want to give people context for the thing we were talking about before, though. Guy's got a solo comedy show on at the moment. I've got a solo comedy show on at the moment. So it's just running at the moment. Guy's got a thing where he has some family members up on stage who he selects from the audience. I just wanted to tell everyone, so they're all part of it.
That's good. That's good. For anyone in the future, for anyone in the room live, it was probably a little dreary. But I tell you what, the context for those listening right now on the bus, not now in the room. Stay with us here.
Guy Montgomery, we've now seen We Are Your Friends twice.
It gets
Not once,
better every
twice.
time.
Right? Jesus. This movie is fucking
Tell
awesome.
you what, within 15 minutes of this movie, Tim Bat looked at me square in the eyes with the biggest eyes I've ever seen him have, and he said, "This is the Citizen Kane of our generation."
And I wasn't wrong. That was only 15 minutes into my second watch, and like the whole way through the second watch, I am not taking it back. It is so good. Everyone's doing their fucking job on this movie, man. I was hearing sound effects that weren't part of the film that got added in, and they sound crisp and lovely. I was
sound effects that weren't part of the film that got added in.
Yeah.
You mean like sound effects?
Yeah. Exactly. Someone took that seriously. Someone was like, oh fuck, I'm on sound effects, then I'll do it. And that's a refreshing change from Grown Ups 2 and Sex and the City 2.
There was noise and those. I do agree though. I feel like everyone sort of, it felt like there was a different energy on set. It felt
Yeah.
like, you know, when we were there working on it as sound recorders, we were doing Foley, we did a lot of sound effects, which I thought were great in the film, by the way. I thought
It
they were
was
really
very similar to the vibe of the Titanic, which I was also on. Which is that everyone knew that they were working on something special and they were pulling their weight and they were a part of something bigger than themselves.
Yeah.
That's what working on this film.
There was a
tasted
real
like.
energy about it, and you could feel it. There was a big opportunity for a lot of different people involved. Obviously, Zac Efron, I think he's going to be a big star.
Hey, can I let you guys into a secret real quick? Turns out Zac Efron is a really good actor. Really good. Baywatch, everyone has written off as being some sort of reboot nostalgia cash grab. No, no, no. I actually think this could be quite a fine piece of cinema.
I read an interview with Zac Efron today in the in popular international sort of the rag, the New Zealand Herald, and it was written by a really good author, anonymous, close personal friend.
Did it have a byline, or did you just not remember?
I don't remember.
You don't remember
I just
the
remember. I was just in such
If it
a
was written
fervour
by
of
The
excitement.
Anonymous, that'd be good, like The Anonymous, and keep hacking people and just sending out really broad left-wing media reports that look like
They've hacked old media. What the Herald Centre print is, by all accounts, the newspaper they've written, but what gets printed is somehow an anonymous newsletter. They're furious. I mean, the heads are rolling.
They never forgive and they never forget. Those are the two things I know about Anon. That's what we call it in the biz. You go on though, guy. Do you know, we used to have a rule for this podcast, and the rule was you're not allowed to get drunk on the first 10 watches of the film, and we have quickly disregarded that for the third season. And I apologise for that, but we'll try and pull it back. for the other ones. But this is a live record. I feel like exceptions will be made.
It's very late, and I'm a very tired boy. Are you a tired little boy too?
No.
A couple of tired boys
jacked.
on stage. Tim is absolutely
I'm
fucking out.
jacked, bro.
He doesn't know what he's saying. But I think it's a really good movie, and I said this even as the end credits were rolling, is because it ends on that sort of triumphant anthem that Zac Efron writes to win over the hearts and souls of everyone at Summerfest, which is really didn't ring well, the name of the festival for me. Summerfest is the least original name for a festival in the world. That was a placeholder.
Isn't Summerfest the name of the thing that happens here in New Zealand that the Edge puts on? Is that Summerfest? Or what? Oh,
Summer Jam.
That's
a bit more fun.
There was
Preserves, dried fruit.
That's it. True. If your first thought is Summerfest, your second thought is Summer Jam.
Right.
And you should always go with the second idea with this kind of thing, because it's a more evolved idea.
They wrote Summerfest down. Someone's like, okay, we need a name. This is the big climax of the movie. This is when Zac Efron or Zacauley or Troy, whatever you want to fucking call him, proves himself.
Where'd Troy come from?
High School Musical, 10-year anniversary.
Right. Can I admit something to you now? Can I be vulnerable with you? I've not seen High School Musical.
Don't worry, I've said it at least 10 times on behalf of both of us.
Really?
It is a fucking excellent bit of movie right there.
I don't doubt that. It combines my two newly favourite things. Musical theatre, which I've known that I've loved for a while, but I didn't know I loved Zac Efron.
Alright.
But I do.
What? You know, what can we say about this boy? He's a good boy.
He's talented.
He's a hot boy. There's a sex scene in the movie between Zac Efron and Emily Sophie. Is the name of the character in the film. Also, perfectly enough for us, Emily's surname in real life. And they pash and they make out. It looks like they're on drugs and the music's going boom, boom, and they're sprinting past slot machines. It looks like a real party. And you're watching them make out and you're like, because these are both super, like, on the scale of sexually charged looking people with the right editing and, post-production. It's powerful stuff, and you're just watching it and you're like, oh, who's more excited about this? Because they are both peaking out right now. But, like, they're on each other's level, and you said to me, and I made a point of writing it down.
You don't have to remind me, I know what I said.
What do you say?
Guy, you've made a mess in your pants.
No, that's not what you got me to write down.
Oh no, what did I get you to write down? I don't remember.
You said you wish Zac Efron was gay.
Oh, yes! Here's the reason why. Here's the reason why. So excited am I, I've reverted to my 16-year-old self. Time travel.
Well, that 16-year-old self should watch High School Musical because it's a fucking awesome
Fuck
movie.
yeah, I watch it now. Like, I just need all I need is the time. That's the only variable that I require.
You watch this goddamn movie every week, you make all time for High School Musical.
Here's the thing, Guy Montgomery. Here's the thing about it. The reason why I wanted Zac Efron to be a little more in character, not offensive. We're hiding behind the shroud of the character. Do I?
Yes, you're correct.
Yes.
You're in the safe space.
Yes. It's because,
Where is this guy going?
don't make me...
Bring him back.
I
want to hear what he thinks about marriage equality.
The thing about Zac Efron is, I've noticed him as being quite a talented actor. But what I was very reserved about was, does he really love Emily Sophie in real life as a human being, or is he acting? And the most of me wants to wish that he's just a really good actor. But there's a little portion of me going, Zac Efron's not a good actor at all. He wants to be a DJ. He wants to have sex with Sophie. And so all he's doing is being his natural self.
So you mean to tell me?
Instead of heaping praise on our lad, Zacauley, we should be chastising him for being shite at his profession, which is acting.
I think it's just good management. I think they know he's vulnerable and they said, Oh, hey, Zach. Do you want to be a part of a documentary?
And he said to them, he said, oh, I love a good documentary.
I'm a very smart boy.
As sure as the sun comes up in the east, I know this to be true. I want to be in a doco.
I feel like that is almost exactly
We've probably run its course.
what happened. Yeah, but we goddamn, we milked that.
Oh, fuck. I was supposed to
Comedy
set that
cow.
stopwatch on at the start of this, and I didn't.
I got you. We've been going for 14 minutes and 5 seconds exactly.
Some would say it feels like a lot longer up here.
Or less. I feel like we barely ripped the scab off this thing. Because it's a hell of a movie. And I can't wait to tell you why.
So, what did you think about the movie this time? I've expressed a little something about what I thought on the second watch. What do you think, guys?
No, I agree. I found it really, when you said Zac Efron's a good actor, I couldn't have agreed more. I thought he did a really good job. I thought he was really good. At the end of the movie, it's Summerfest, which is impossible to get past. There's a time for something. And if there is anything in New Zealand called Summerfest, that's bad news. Because you're just like, okay, what have we got here? What are we working with? What are the raw materials that we're promoting here? It's going to happen in December, or summer, as we call the season. And it's going to, what we're going to do is we're going to get a lot of different tents, different people. We're going to try and get them around. So there's going to be a festival. It's going to be a summer festival. It's too long
Done.
for a hashtag.
No, it isn't.
Drop the evil.
That's what everyone thinks, but you've got to think counterculture in this day and age. It's 2016. It's hashtag 2016. And when people are hashtagging that these days, they spell out 2016 in letters. Because the hashtag 2016 starting with a T, not a 2, thing to do is create a hashtag that is obscenely long, and then your word economy becomes absurd. You thought 160 characters was too little? You thought 140 was too little? How about we chuck a fucking massive hashtag in there, and you have to communicate all the information requisite for people to get to your goddamn show, get them excited, give them the call to action, and like 30 letters. What does the comment say to that? He says challenge accepted. Guy Montgomery would wimp out because he's a big wimpy boy.
I'm a big brave boy with a big heart. I've been drinking a lot of milk. I've been growing my bones. I know what I'm doing, and I know what's good for me. And what I was going to say, Tim, is that I was really excited when you said Zac Efron is a good actor.
Yes.
And I couldn't have agreed more. And at the tail end of the film, it's Summerfest, when he plays his final song. And this is, if you buy into the movie, this is genuinely the emotional climax of the film. Like, he's been through some stuff. His very good friend Squirrel, who Tim himself identifies as. Tim, whenever we watch the movie, which is twice, he always says, I'm Squirrel, bro. And whenever Squirrel's on the screen, he goes, that's me, bro.
And it's not even out of pride, it's like begrudging. It's like, I'm him. It's sad. Because he is the squirrel of the group. Like, he's the little Weasley cunt.
Good reason. There's not even a Weasley. He's a
I'm sorry to throw this C word out there. I don't mean to do that.
It's fine. I think when you're describing yourself as a Weasley cunt, I think you're in the clear.
It's just sad, man. I think it reflects poorly on me that I self-identify with the squirrel.
I think it's fine. I don't really like Squirrel in the movie.
He's the guy who's like thinking big picture, but he dies in the film. He's the only one who dies. And in the universe of We Are Your Friends, only one person dies, and it's Squirrel, and that's it.
But it had to be Squirrel. They fleshed out his character the least.
That's stretched up.
He drove them all around in his mum's car, and he liked to smoke weed at the beach. And they're like, no, there's no way to resolve this character. We'll just give him a drug overdose show and get him the fuck out of there. Like,
there's a trope in filmmaking that you act the African American character, and it's like nowhere is it more evident than in Halloween. Is it H2O? Is that the one that's like the 20th anniversary one? And LL Cool J is like the guest star, and they fucking nix him straight away in the movie.
Does he say it out loud in the movie?
He might reference it actually, yeah, I think so. It's like, it's that common that they nix him. There is solely white dudes crushing it in this film, so they have to kill Squirrel. They're like, well, we've got to sacrifice someone, and Squirrel's the most expendable person of our white breed of merry men, so they have to fucking nix him.
Yeah. And they're right in doing so, because if they didn't kill Squirrel, quite literally just watch 4 guys who are doing fine in the valley. All they do is...
Forever, always.
Yeah, and
Just
then...
like, here are 4 dudes who were cool, and they're a little bit cooler. It's not a movie.
So it's like, here's 4 dudes who are cool, and now here's 3 dudes who are cooler, but guess what it came at a cost?
Here are the best movies off the top of my head. Titanic. That's a movie about a woman and man.
You said you worked on it, you're still promoting.
What are you talking about?
I know for a fact you worked on the Titanic.
I did not.
You don't remember, you're always going on about how you worked on the Titanic. You genuinely don't remember how you were going on about it.
You can't make me know that I have the ability to time travel. It's not a good thing to get out there. It creates all the complications. People ask a lot of favours.
I'm not giving away anything that hasn't already been said, bro.
If I was to pick my favourite movies, I'd start with Titanic. And that's not a clue. Because that's a movie about 2 people just like getting on a boat, having a real dope time, coming from like different places, and then ultimately ending in the same place, right? So it's a journey. The same place that they end up is essentially a popsicle, except for Rose, who makes that alive. But we're just. Here's another great film. Terminator 2. Robots time traveling. Some other people. Sarah Connor, just trying to like change the future that's already been preset for her. Everyone starts from a place, they end up in a different place. That's what makes a movie. And We Are Your Friends, if Squirrel didn't die, is just 4 dudes who live in Los Angeles, California, who start off pretty cool and then end up in the exact same position. You need some sacrifice. Does Squirrel even make it?
As a DJ?
Yeah. I mean, he plays the Summerfest where he plays such a fucking danger of a track that it's like, I get that that's his debut on the world stage. Like, that's him trying to present himself to all and sundry, but he
the
fails.
fucking idiots who bought a ticket to see Summerfest. Who bought a ticket to see the least original festival, which, by the way, the organisers didn't even think to create any sort of hype or music in between acts. They quite literally hired DJs and then just put out 30-minute blocks of silence with a bunch of people standing in a fucking...
I've actually come around to that though.
Since
we last talked about it, it's if you think about it, if you know you're going to something fucking hype, which apparently is the word we use now.
You're the only one who used it.
Well, I'm starting. It's a cool way to get started. Someone's going to start it. You are prepared to wait the like 15 to 20 to 30 seconds of silence in anticipation to just fucking get ready.
No way, man. You get a room full of, or a car park full of drugged up 20-year-olds who are like just in this weird heightened sense of reality, and all they're hearing is loud music, and then in the middle of it, when they're all just freaking out, you're like, boom, the fabric of reality, boom, gone. Yeah, it's just you and your thoughts, you freaky 20-year-olds on drugs. How's that fucking music festival going for you?
You are not wrong.
That is a disaster.
Silence is a cruel mistress to throw on a crowd that has just been engaging in some hedonistic bullshit,
Yeah.
chemicals and gyrations. But yeah, to pull
You
them over
can't
at that point,
be rubbing up
you're
on
right,
strangers in broad daylight at 20 years old in silence. That is like
man. Not wrong.
kryptonite to 20-year-olds.
Not wrong at all. I want to talk about something, and I made you write down the words Van and Wilder. And the reason for that was...
You always are going on about Van Wilder.
Well, I've brought it up, I think, in the old potty before, because Van Wilder was a movie that meant a lot to me. The origin story was, I think, this is how it happened. Yeah, this is how I found out about the movie Van Wilder. I wouldn't have even known about it. If I didn't.
You were a teenager at a video store.
My older brother, who was at university at the time, was like, every time I can't be bothered going to uni, I watch this film and then I go to a couple classes. The guy's breaking in the dough now. My brother's doing fine, thanks for asking.
That is a miracle, because on the evidence you've just presented, he sounds like the biggest idiot.
But he gave me it on DVD, like, as a present for a birthday or Christmas or something. And I watched it, and I was like...
Here you go, little brother. Everything's gonna be just fine.
But I got it. That's the thing about it, like, I got it. I watched that movie, I was like, yes, dude. Absolutely. I understand. And it probably didn't hurt that Ryan Reynolds had been predisposed to me through Two Guys, a Girl and a Pizza Place, which was an amazing series that I don't think gets enough credit.
What was good about that show?
Ryan Reynolds, so just did. But the other dude was good. Actually, all three of them were good.
The other dude.
I can't
Yeah,
remember
that
what
other
it
dude was super memorable, I thought. I thought that other dude's work was really great.
Listen, my point is, Deadpool's a great film. We should all support it. He was sitting on that script for a long ass time. I can't remember where it's going with that.
You were talking about Van Wilder.
So Van Wilder. So that was a movie where, like, I watched it when I was a bit younger, and have I told the story about the media studies class on this potty?
Does anyone have
Does that ring any bells?
Yeah, so
Shut down! And because one person
suddenly-
knows, no one else will ever know.
I feel like the itchy and scratchy animators when they're called on the rib making different notes on the same bone.
That's the
Yeah,
meanest
I'm
thing you can
grateful.
say to a fucking legend who's watched 3 consecutive hours of this bullshit.
Well, if you didn't catch that sly reference, check out season 1 once again. Replay the whole thing. That's what episode it was. My point was, Van Wilder is a film that came into my life. I liked it a lot at a particular
Have a
time.
beer,
I
man.
recognised that it was a bad old movie. And this is in a similar frame for me because it's like the movie isn't flawless. There's a lot of weird shit to it. In particular, a guy who Guy and I have lovingly referred to as Jarhead. His real name's Mason, but he's bald. So I thought he looked like Jack Gyllenhaal from Jarhead.
He's
plus
a bad.
Mason
He's
Jar.
also one of the few things that's wrong with this movie. He's a bad guy. He's a bad egg. I've got a bad feeling about him. I don't think he's good for the boys. I think he's really a toxic influence. I think he's controlling. I don't like him. I don't care for him. And I'm sorry if he's one of your close friends. As long as you're hanging out with him, I'm not hanging out with you, man. I don't want to say it's a coldie. I really like you as a dude. I think you're a cool guy.
Yeah.
But I can't be part of your documentary because I really don't like this guy Mason you've been spending time with.
The guy cannot abide at all to the Mason Jar. Jarhead is a dude who, very early on in the film, like about 20 minutes in, he's like hassling this woman who's like a door person, they have the list.
This is super dark, by the way. For everything we've said that's good about the movie, this is a super dark time.
I think I'll misquote it though. I don't think I'll get quite the intention.
You'll get
on
close
it.
enough. It's a
So,
bad thing.
fucking, there's a brief shot where he hands her some people to add to the door list. Blah blah blah. She's doing her job. Sicoli's doing some DJing. The night ends. Jarhead follows the woman home. It's like on a street somewhere. It's just street lights illuminating the pavement. And he comes up to her and starts harassing her, and she says, "Stop. I will sleep with you, but on 2 conditions. Number 1, that you recognise this is pity sex, and I will never admit to it having happened." I don't even remember what point
And
is
number
to.
2,
Point 2 is.
you shut the fuck up.
Yeah. And it's like, there's no way to have sex with someone.
And
man.
so, but all the other boys, they're all having a cool time. They're having like super awesome, consensual, talkative sex. And like, Zicoli's on PCP at this weird art gallery, and everything's going into a cartoon. And then the same music and vibes, it's like, yeah, the boys are doing it. And then it's like this door lady being harassed, being like, hey,
Fine. You've been harassing me for a long time. Fine.
that's. Aside from that, it's a great movie. It's Citizen Kane of our generation. It's
No, let's dwell on this for a moment more. It's a bad thing that happens. And it's one of the real missteps with this movie, but it's so broad, deep, and meaningful that I feel like it drags the rest of the movie down. And I'm almost tempted to say, like, this movie, I think on Rotten Tomatoes has got 48%. And I feel like that percentage has been dragged down by just a couple of bits in the film which let the rest of it down. Because as a complete work of art, fine. It exists.
well,
It's
as
obviously-
a work of art, it is undeniably and categorically a work of art. And you can really see that that's what they were going for. I
Work
mean,
of art.
It's a joy to be around. Working on the film as we did.
The PCP.
Everyone involved was really excited. The PCP was really cool. And what's really cool about the PCP, but as we were on the set making the movie, doing the sound effects, Max, the director, made sure everyone was on PCP. Everyone involved. Everyone within a 50-kilometre radius. We got a whole suburb.
I had never done it before.
No, and a lot of people
things.
haven't done it since. On account, they haven't done anything since. They just sit in a white room with windows, eating crackers. Like it ruined a lot of people's lives. But it was a really good.
The important thing is, though, it was definitely worth it to birth this.
Well,
That's how I feel when I'm making a film. I get impregnated by the idea. I do some PCP. I gestate. And then 9 months later a film appears and I'm like, yeah.
Biology.
Filmmaking. Hashtag filmmaking. It's like 17 characters, probably.
Hashtag filmmaking 17 characters.
How many characters are there? Tons.
Absolutely. But no, I just think that ultimately this movie is a good thing for society. I think it reaches out and tries to teach a lot of lessons.
What?
It's a real mirror
I
for
feel like you ran a lot of syllables together at once.
It's a real mirror for society.
A mirror for society. Can we just keep the basics in on this podcast, dude? Like, enunciation isn't hard. I think we can all agree. Enunciation is not a tricky thing to do. So let's all do it. A mirror for society. Not a mirror for society. You mocking me? Is that what's happening? Okay. Real mature. I'm gonna run around the block with you by delivering some quality content. Have you guys ever been in love before? Because I feel like this movie does the best
No one in
job.
this room has been in love before, by the way. For those listening at home. We've got about, I don't know, at least 60 people in here. And of this 60, none of them. No one. This has got to be the saddest group of people in the fucking world.
That's why you're here. Don't chastise them. The reason I asked that question is because
You should probably explain the concept of love to this room full of miserable.
We'll do that in a minute. But first, just this film does the best job of depicting love in cinema since Baz Luhrmann's crack at Romeo and Juliet. Like, the way that he captures being on drugs and wanting to bash someone right on the face, for my money, is on the money. It's all money, all the time. It's money, baby. To borrow a term phrase from Vince Vaughn.
And someone who hasn't tried.
Any Swingers fans in the audience? No? 3 people. Good.
Someone who hasn't tried, will never try drugs. I would like to say that I think you should probably explain what it's like.
Which drugs? Love.
Any drugs.
Well, love is the drug. And love is a drug that is very similar to ketamine.
That's why it makes horses go to sleep.
It does. Horses.
Put a horse in front of a rom-com, they will have a nap. That is a stone cold fact.
That's why with horses they give the super long lashes to the male horses. If you see really long lash on a horse, it's on the male horse. Because if they gave it to the female horses, male horses would just fall asleep constantly and we couldn't have horse racing. Which would be fucking diabolical.
Or any more horses.
Yeah.
Because while horses are still primitive with regards to, being compared to humans, sexual assault and rape is still real in the horse community, and accordingly you can't have sex with a horse. We can't have sex with horses to sleep, and you can't have sex with a horse that's to sex. I mean, there's a...
Hashtag, just could you please seek some consent?
Horse scent. Horse scent is also a new fragrance being released. I do myself. It's the smell of a horse who's had sex and fallen asleep. Horse scent.
Where did we come from? I can't remember what the point was.
Very hard to keep up. There's a lot of other notes. I can't bring them on my phone because I'm recording this as a safety, but you should bring them up because there's a lot to talk about and we did write it down.
I don't know.
They're available on your phone. I sent it to you on your phone.
Okay.
I'm a good guy. I'm a good smart guy. I plan ahead. I'm a good boy. Tim's also a good boy. We're a couple of good boys, a couple of tight boys. I tell you what though, Zac Efron's going to be a big star. Yeah, you laugh at me now.
There's no retrieving the notes from this phone. It's not going to happen.
Well, rest assured, they were good nights.
At this point, we're freestyling, which is what we do most episodes. It's an unusual feeling being
We record a lot of episodes underwater.
Episode 2 in front of a live audience has put an interesting angle on the whole thing. Yeah, okay.
One person was on board with it. Yeah. That guy is my boy. As you were, so. I don't mean to interrupt your train of thought.
It's just like, it's interesting, because you jump on the Facebook or whatever, you jump on the subreddit, jump on the live crowd, and you're like, do you know what, I think you guys have really lost it with this final season, this latest season, because it's not such a bad film. I watched the film and I enjoyed it. And it's like, do you know what? Maybe you're right.
You know what? I don't feel like that at all. I feel like maybe you're wrong. Maybe the last season of the podcast is about us just having a great time with the fucking boys.
Yes.
They just want Zac Efron to be a good DJ.
Two fuckboys from New Zealand.
Who doesn't want Zac Efron to be a really good DJ?
On a weekly basis with 4 fuckboys from Los Angeles, California. There's no better recipe for success in terms of a podcast than that. We should rename the podcast Some Fuckboys. That should be what it's called from here on in. Because everyone's having fun.
Some Fuckboys is bigger than one podcast. That's the name for a whole podcast network. And everything in its goddamn stable.
Can I ask you a question? You know how Squirrel dies for the good of the boys, so that they can continue to be lads?
Swear to boys, swear to boys.
Is it worth this podcast for one of us to fucking cark it? And if so, pick one of us. And bear in mind that you're one of them.
I would choose for myself to die, and for one reason only, because within the confines and rules and word of the podcast, they require you, as the murderer, to then stand up and deliver a roast at my funeral.
You are forgetting I thought you'd forgotten about that, actually. You're forgetting a key component of that, which is that I have to seek the permission of both your parents. Well, Stephen and Charlotte have to agree to me roasting you post-mortem for it to happen. I should do it now, preemptively. And they can just play the recording of it. Should I do it? I'm going to attempt it. I haven't written anything, though. I'm going to stand up for this.
What are you doing? Are you roasting me?
Yes, dude.
That's not cool, man.
Now, bro. Are you okay with it?
We're alive.
Yeah, you cool with it, though?
We're having a good time alive.
I feel like it's important. Are you down with this?
If you feel like it's important, I guess, it must be important.
Here's my first joke. I'm Guy Montgomery and I get very conditional approvals to them. You say yes or no, man.
Well, you better turn the roast up to 13 because this boy is cooking.
Hey ladies and gentlemen, my name's Guy Montgomery. I'm taller than the average man and I can't wait to tell you about it. Look at all my limbs, they're huge. And ever so bendy. I'm a crazy dude. My mind doesn't work like your mind works. It's going from one idea to the next.
This is more mimicry than a roast, bro. This is good content.
I actually at this space, I feel like I'm running out of steam fast. I'm sorry, I attempted this without a team of writers. I'm throwing myself from the roast.
Hi, I'm Tim Bett. I can do anything if you give me a chance. Just give me a chance to do it. I'll absolutely get the goddamn job done. I'll tell you what's a good idea is I'll start doing a roast right now with that team of writers behind me. God, I wish I had a team of writers. That doesn't matter. I'll just do it anyway. It's going to go to gangbusters because I'm a funny guy with a funny brain. It's not quite like yours. I do jokes and I talk about politics. Oh, and also sometimes religion, not as much politics. And vote for me.
Roasting so hard. couple of baristas up there going, hell for leather. God damn.
I like you and I like this movie. This podcast is now about love. It's about friendship. It's so positive. It's such a good
It's what I
time.
love though, bro. Everyone in the third season was hanging on because they were like the depths of despair they were in with Sex and the City 2. I can't imagine what's going to happen with this next movie. Oh my goodness, another year of a movie they just like that they've got to watch every single week. But here's the thing no one anticipated, bruh. What if we put the fucking podcast format in his goddamn head? What if we discovered a film that was under-celebrated? What if we found out that Zac Efron was the greatest actor of our time and that catfish, whatever is fucking...
That catfish.
Catfish dude? What if he's the best director we've ever seen?
And that's what we've discovered.
It turns out, contrary to what we first believed, judged by the trailer, which was 4 minutes long, of an hour and a half movie, which is a good portion of the film.
It was definitely about 2 minutes long.
No, it's 4 minutes, no shit. That trailer's massive. Revisit it.
You watched the Zac Efron YouTube channel trailer of the documentary that he was making?
You get off the big train.
We Are Your Friends trailer's 2 minutes.
Get off
Zac
the big
Efron
train.
doco trailer's 4. I've seen it. Hey, I'm Zac Efron, and I'm gonna become big superstar DJ.
How dare you? How dare you bring that kind of disrespect into the judge? I think I know one's taking video content from this audio content because your mouth made a very disparaging shape when you were emulating the one and true acting god, Zac Efron. Anyway, my point is, this movie's fucking dope. Everything's fucking dope. And guess what? If you don't like it, sorry about it.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks this is a podcast about Guy and I exposing ourselves to a radioactive movie every week. Turns out season 3 isn't. Season 3 is about us discovering a movie that should have won Academy Awards and Oscars and shit. They did the same thing. Yeah. I think I meant to say Emmys. Just all of the awards that could have been possible. Golden Globes, why not? Fuck TV. TV is the old movies. Movies are the new TV.
No, you lost
Give
it.
all
You
of the awards to
even,
Zac Efron.
like, I checked
Where
out,
are
I was
your
looking at my
friends
phone
the
for a bit. But I'm not on the level, man. But I've got these great notes here. I found them. And I'd like to do the shining light right now because we've been talking for longer than either of us think
You're
or
not
feel.
wrong.
And I'd like to bring up a scene in the movie which I don't think was probably, if any critic gave it a bad review, it was probably this scene was couched in a bad review. Because if you don't quite understand what the actors are doing, it probably doesn't read or watch that well. But if you get a feel for what the brief was from the director and the execution, I think it'll...
The catfish guy?
Yeah, the cash fish guy. So he's throwing up fish with cash and going, action! And then he eats it, it's fucked. Anyway, there's a scene after Emily, Sophie, and Zaccoli Troy have sex in Las Vegas, and there's been a lot of build up to the scene. There's a lot of like tension release. It's very satisfying that finally had sex. And they wake up in the morning and they're in bed, and they both agree that what is a good idea, and this is my shining light for the week, by the way, but it's a super good idea that they have some breakfast. And they think, let's get some rooms, we're in a hotel in Las Vegas, let's get some room service.
She says, should we get room service?
That's exactly how
In
she
a very
works it down.
violent fashion.
And it's totally, you buy in, absolutely, and Zac Efron's like, he looks straight down the camera and he's like, sometimes I like to get room service, and he turns back to Emily Sophie and says, yes. And it's a beautiful, it's a perfect moment. But then they get the room service, and the brief from Cashfish guy was obviously just like, all right,
Bring it.
you just gonna, what we're going to do,
Go.
we haven't really written this part of the script. We're
We've
just
got
going
the
to
cameras, we don't have a script.
we're
Go.
going to give you guys some room service and just improv how you feel about the room service. And they give them a delicious breakfast, and they both just sit there for a minute of the movie going, oh my gosh, these pancakes are so yum.
Oh, he's not fucking kidding around. Like, that's almost exactly verbatim the dialogue. Like, how are your pancakes? The pancakes are so yum. Yeah, pancakes are great. Yeah, I love pancakes.
It's crazy what pancakes are. Hey, you can't even believe how good these pancakes taste to me.
I love pancakes so much. They're the best.
Well, if you want to have a love contest with pancakes, I'll be every time.
I will continue to because pancakes, love them. That's the quality. That's
If
the
you want me
thing.
to
We
put
just
my
did it
dick
on
in some
scene there.
pancakes, I'll do it.
What?
Still
Be on the
character.
pilot.
Still a character as a colleague.
So that's your shining light. again, man, and I know this isn't the first time I brought this up, but I can't help but feel that you've gone against the spirit of what a shining light is. Like you've ironically picked a shining light, which is a bit where the movie falls down. To pick as a
Part of the reason I love the movie is they left room. So Grown Ups 2, if you read discussions around it, was apparently entirely improvised. They didn't write a script. It was just all of them on set being like, wow, we better do some work today, boys. And then they just talk to each other. And then some fucking poor editor in a room was just like, I gotta do this. And they did it. Well, in this movie, it's like, okay, we've got a whole fucking storyline. We're gonna pack a bunch of shit in. And by the way, here's one scene just for you two. Just eat some food. We'll film it. We'll put it in. That's a promise. That's a fucking catfish promise. And if you don't believe me, you better believe this. And he took a whole catfish filled with cash and he just fucking ate it in one go. It's fucked.
That's so intense, bro. I love that shit. That's awesome. That's what the Mighty Boys would do. You know, we want to play at the club tonight. They're like, we're better than that now. We've ascended. We just eat cash fish.
Catfish, season 1.
My shining light was the outdated MacBook, which we get a brief glimpse of, which doesn't even have island keys. Like, what is Cole playing at? How old is his laptop?
I told you
I'm
this.
not even a Mac guy. I've never owned an Apple product in my life. But I saw that laptop, and I went,
I told you
a
this.
step at a time.
When we were watching the movie, so they made a point of making this movie last year, and it was super, it's on the time and up to speed. And the reason he's got that old MacBook Pro that you deride so heavily is because he's like, they're not doing that, they're living in the valley, like he's living at his friend's parents' house, like he's not super, he doesn't have all the kit.
I get that, but he's not an animal. Like that MacBook Pro is from about 2012. Dog.
Tim also, later on in the movie, when you see a close-up of Squirrel on his phone, said, wait, was that a Galaxy S3?
I did say that.
This movie was made last fucking year. That is some bullshit.
And at this moment, I'd like to just bring some credentials to the fold. My phone fucked out today because it is a phone from that era of the S3. I had an HTC though. And this is like the 4th one, then it's broken again. No, it's the 5th one.
Do you have shares with HTC?
I almost bought them, but I don't have any money. That's the real
Because you keep having to reinvest in HTC products every 2 years.
Yeah. Typically poor.
Sounds like a hell of a
We
brand.
don't need to air this dirty laundry right now.
Okay, some other stuff you told me to write down. 99 homes. What does that mean? Quickly.
It just means that there's a bit in this film where they start descending into a subplot, like a B or a C storyline, where they all become mortgagee brokers. This film was probably written in 2013, so we're dealing with the post-mortem of the financial crash, the GFC of 2008. Everyone's lost their homes, and these boys get taken in by a real wolf.
Who are good boys.
A real Wolf of Wall Street type, who's a real property mogul, and his job is to recruit young bucks to get people on the phone whose houses have foreclosed.
Deer and humans. He hires the deer from Grown Ups 2 in the office. There's 4 boys and a deer. And Lenny Fader comes in and he's like, what are the
We're really running against stream at the moment. We're not on the same path.
As you were.
And 99 Homes is a film which I'd fucking recommend to anyone. God, it's good. It's about the wake of the financial crisis and a person foreclosing on homes and just doing what they need to do to make a bit of cash, but they do it on other people's backs who get foreclosed on. And this movie briefly juts into that as a storyline, and I think it's fucking cool, man.
But
So get into this realm where the boys who we're following from LA all start working in an office like a bunch of plebeians, and they have to wear a tie to work and shit.
counterculture, baby.
They hate it. Seen Workaholics? It's kind of like that, but they care a little bit more about their jobs. They're foreclosing on people. Cole has to rip a woman with a new baby out of her property. It's horrible, and it makes you feel something. Because Zac Efron's a good actor. He sells it. So you're kind of briefly in this Wolf of Wall Street 99 Homes scenario and then it takes you back out, and suddenly you're in the drug-fueled party atmosphere of
I like
downtown
that
Los Angeles.
as an idea that this film touches all other films. So it's like they sort of open up the idea that it's like,
It's Studio
hey,
54. Or is it? It's 99 Homes. But it ain't. It's Titanic. There's no Rose.
or shit. But I like the idea that it sort of addresses, it's sort of like, oh yeah, and so then this global financial crisis happened, and people were real mean about it, and they made a lot of money by ripping people off. And it's like, yeah, and they're obviously bad people, and you should not like them. And then they're like, but everything works out, and then you go and start doing drugs at a nightclub, and they're like, but everything works out fine with those people. Stop thinking about those people. We've got some drugs to do at a nightclub. But then your mate dies.
And this seems like a joke, but we're going to end it there.
Are we really?
We really are, man. We really are.
All power to us.
So, what I'd say was, watch
before you end it, one thing. It's really important I say this, because I really felt it, that the older DJ, James Reed, I don't know who plays him, but
we'll figure it out by the
we'll figure it out. Yeah, we've got ample opportunity. But fuck, when you read that script, it's just some good-looking 40-something-year-old white dude.
How dare you? He's 34 at most. That guy's a young guy.
He plays late 30s in the film, which must be older.
Nah, sorry, you go.
Or maybe they cast him younger because it feels like a lot of like let's just be heathens propaganda.
Make your point.
I am. It's all context. This is important stuff. The world is one way. After this conversation, it will forever be changed. And what I'm trying to say is, when he read the script, he must have just been like, yeah, it's a great role.
So glad we gave you the oxygen.
But just as that guy, disaffected DJ, just like, hey, here's a role for you. You're going to get $2 million to play the role of a DJ who doesn't care about being a DJ anymore. It's like, all right, just get a show on set and just act like I don't care about anything that's happening on the set. And you're going to film me doing it. And they're like, yeah. That's free money. That is crazy.
Yeah, it's real good. Do you think he did a good job though? That's the real question.
Yeah, because they literally cast. I guess they cast
disaffected actor as the disaffected DJ.
They cast him in a doco. Zac Efron went up to his friend who was an unhappy older DJ and said, "Do you want to be part of my documentary?" And he said, "Absolutely." And then they just shot a buttload of footage and cut around it.
Yes.
And that's why it's a good movie.
Oh damn, I'm so glad we allowed for the last 4 minutes of that rather than closing it when I preferred to.
Hey, thanks, Craig. I'm real glad we did it too. And I also really appreciate the positive energy you bring to this podcast. Hey, I think you're a really good guy. And you're also super time efficient. Like, all the time. I don't think you've ever sort of spoken about anything, for a long and inappropriate amount of time. And then sort of lost your way towards the end of the idea. I feel like you're always on the goddamn nose. And that's why I respect you, so I'm really excited to keep talking to you and about you for another year. Hey, you're a cool guy, you got a pretty little face. You look great clean shaven, by the way. I think it's good for your cheeks. Everyone gets you got diamond cutters there, man. You get cut coal on those, they come out as diamonds. And that's part of the reason why I respect you so much as a creator of content and also as a co-host of the podcast, because whenever I have an idea that you might not agree with, you give it air and you accommodate it and you let me talk about it, think about it, and then at the end of it, you never make me feel silly or dumb about it. You always just go, hey, that was valid, bro. You're valid too, and we validate each other, and that's a big part of the reason why I speak. And why I think right now that so many people are still listening to the podcast, and this particular part, because this is a real insight. This is behind the puppet show, where you understand our relationship as friends, as co-hosts. And that you give me this air and this opportunity to say what I think, and I do the same for you, and it's reciprocal, and I think that's what's really important about our relationship as friends, and that's what we are, I think, ultimately, as friends. And that's how I look at you, man. Like, whenever I see you, whenever I meet you, even if it's a business meeting, or if it's just a couple of boys hanging out with our parents, and having our first meal with all of our parents there at one table, and our parents don't really agree about a lot of stuff, and they're having a big fight, and we're both worried that it's going to impact our relationship and our friendship and the whole podcast. Maybe we should call the whole thing off, because your dad doesn't like my dad, and your mum and your dad, and they don't really like my uncle because he's a bad guy, and he got in a lot of big trouble, didn't he? And they put him away. But you and I, we're still sitting there, we're looking at each other, and there's that respect, and that sort of mutual love. And I really appreciate that you, week after week, you know, give me the opportunity. And no matter what time it is in the podcast, no matter when it is, we're wrapping things over, we're sort of putting a pin in it, and you say to me, Guy, I love you, man. And whatever you say, I'll never undermine you. I'll never make you feel like a dummy. And you're a smart guy, and you've got a big heart. You're a good boy, and we're good boys. And I fucking love it when you give me that energy, bro.